Welcome to my channel SkyHub. In this playlist, we will build a LeetCode clone from scratch, where we use MERN stack, detailed system design, DevOps technology like Docker, GitHub Action for continuous integration and continuous delivery. We will see cloud deployment using AWS, integrate AI chatbot. We use Just Zero API. We also use Monaco code editor. We use Cloudinary and Razorpay for premium feature. So at day 1, we will see introduction and prerequisites, and also we will see how to install necessary tools and how to set up our project. तो इस प्लेलिस्ट को हम लोग स्टार्ट करते हैं और आज हम लोग देखेंगे इंट्रोडक्शन, प्रीरिक्विजिट्स, इंस्टॉलेशन एंड प्रोजेक्ट सेटअप. So this will be our ultimate full stack project where we use MERN stack, system design, AI and DevOps. Now let's talk about this project. So this won't just be a simple MERN app. This is a production ready project designed to build the skills that top tech companies look for. So now the question is, why watch this playlist? So in this playlist, we just don't use MERN. We will tackle the exact system design and architecture questions asked at FAANG companies and other top product-based companies. We will see full stack development, not just MERN application development. We will implement it in real time and also deploy a scalable system from scratch. This is the one project for your portfolio that demonstrates mastery of the entire modern tech stack, like front-end and back-end, secure cloud development, and AI integration. Also DevOps. So at that way, this will be a full stack project. So what's the outcome after you watch this playlist? So first of all, we will master the MERN stack at a senior level. You will build a complex project that stands out to recruiters. You will understand and deploy scalable distributed systems. You will confidently answer advanced system design interview questions, and you will know how to integrate modern AI and DevOps tools into your workflow. तो हमारा गोल यही है कि हम लोग LeetCode की तरह फुल्ली फंक्शनल स्केलेबल प्रॉब्लम प्लेटफॉर्म बनाएंगे फ्रॉम स्क्रैच. Let's talk about our tech stack. First of all, MERN stack, where M stands for MongoDB, E for Express, R for React, and N for Node.js. These are used for our core application design. We use Redis as a high-speed message queue for code submission. We integrate the Just Zero API for multi-language code execution. We integrate the GEMINI chatbot for providing hints and explanations for coding-related questions only. We use DevOps and cloud computing for production-grade deployment. We use Cloudinary as a free service for video hosting, and we use Razorpay for premium features. So basically in MongoDB, we use NoSQL database for storing users' problem and submission history. It is used with Mongoose for flexible and scalable data storage. Now Express is a fast and minimal Node.js framework for building our robust and scalable REST API. We will create a robust API to manage users, problem, submission, and AI interaction. Now React is the powerful front-end library for building a dynamic, fast, and responsive user interface. It will build a modern, responsive, and stateful UI featuring the Monaco code editor for a real code editor feel like VS Code. Now, Node.js is the runtime environment that powers our entire backend server-side logic. For the front end, we use Tailwind CSS, which is used for rapid custom UI development and for building a modern design. We use Monaco editor for integrating the power of the VS Code editor directly into our browser for a rich familiar coding experience. तो familiar इसलिए क्योंकि जितने भी डेवलपर हैं वो मोस्टली VS कोड को प्रेफर करते हैं. Next, Redux Toolkit for powerful and predictable global state management of our complex application state. Next is Axios. It is a promise-based HTTP client for all front-end and back-end communication. So basically, Axios is responsible for connecting the front-end and back-end. We will also use Postman for managing and testing API requests on our backend. So let's talk about the main feature of our project. So first is user authentication. It will cover user sign up, login and forget password functionality. So JWT stands for JSON Web Token. It is used for secure stateless authentication. We will create tokens on login and validate them on protected routes. We use Bcrypt.js for hashing user passwords securely in the MongoDB database. We will never store plain text passwords. HTTP only cookies. This stores the JWT in a secure HTTP only cookie to prevent cross-site scripting attacks from accessing the login states. So the required steps are: first, user signups; second, password is hashed or encrypted; third, JWT token is created; and fourth, token is sent in a secure cookie. Let's move to our next feature, which is code submission engine. So our code app built with MERN, Express, React and Node.js. Next is Judge Zero. So the Judge Zero is the code of our LeetCode platform. It is a robust open source engine to execute user submitted code securely. It provides secure and isolated code execution for multiple languages using the Judge Zero API. It is responsible for compile and run user code. Next is Redis queue. It is used for high speed in-memory data store for caching and submission queues. It implements a message brokers to handle code submission asynchronously and prevent API timeouts. It handles thousands of submissions with an asynchronous task queue for scalability. तो हम लोग अपने कोड ऐप में MERN स्टैक का यूज करेंगे, MongoDB, एक्सप्रेस, रिएक्ट, Node.js. हम लोग जज जीरो API का यूज करेंगे जो कि सपोर्ट करता है मल्टीपल लैंग्वेज कंपाइलेशन को. हम लोग रेडिस का यूज करेंगे. हम लोग इसमें लोग ये भी देखेंगे कि वाई रेडिस, वाई नॉट काफका. So to achieve this, we will follow some steps. First is React sends code to Node.js. Second, job added to Redis queue. Third, worker sends Judge Zero. Fourth, result saved to database. The next feature is Scalable cloud deployment, where we use Docker. It is used for containerizing our MERN stack for consistent and isolated environment. The containerized app makes it easy for scaling, replication, and management. For deployment, we have different options. First, using render. Second, using Vercel and Heroku, where Vercel for frontend and Heroku for backend. And third, using AWS EC2. So, AWS Cloud is used for deploying our containerized application to the cloud using services like EC2, ECR, and ECS. For continuous integration and continuous delivery, we use GitHub Action. We can also use Jenkins, but in this project, we use GitHub Action for testing and deployment pipeline. So to achieve this, we have some steps to follow. First, push to GitHub. Second, GitHub Action builds Docker image. Third, pushes to AWS ECR. And next, we will integrate Kubernetes cluster updates. Now the next feature is AI and premium content. So first is GEMINI AI chatbot. This is a large language model LLM powering our intelligent AI chatbot that provides hints, explains solution, and debug code via a proxy Node.js backend. Next is Cloudinary. It manages cloud storage and delivery for all video explanation. We will host all premium videos solutions securely streamed to subscribed users based on their roles, like basic role and premium role. So we will use Stripe or Razorpay integration to manage user subscription, unlocking content based on user rules in MongoDB. So we implement a payment gateway to lock certain features like AI hints, problem video solution behind the subscription. So here are some steps we have to follow to achieve this. First, user asks AI for a hint. Second, Node.js backend queries Gemini API. Third, Stripe or Razorpay webhooks manage premium user status. तो आप लोग नीचे कमेंट करें कि हम लोग डिप्लॉयमेंट और प्रीमियम फीचर के लिए कौन सा यूज करें. फॉर डिप्लॉयमेंट फर्स्ट इज रेंडर, सेकेंड इज वर्सल एंड हिरोकू, थर्ड इज AWS cloud feature, and for premium feature we have two options. First is Stripe, second is Razorpay. Please comment. Now let's move to our objective. Why we are using these? For modern developer experience, we use React, Tailwind, Redux, create a fast maintainable front end. Use Monaco and Postman to improve our development workflow and ensure quality. So let's see how we will use DevOps and deployment. So first we will code and commit it in version control system like Git and GitHub. For build and test, we use CI/CD with GitHub Action. So for containerization, we use Docker. For deployment, we will see Render, Heroku, and Vercel or AWS. So let's see high-level system design roadmap for our project. Part 1, we will set up our one stack backend and frontend boilerplate basic API setup. Part 2, core logic. We will integrate Just0, Redis queue and build the asynchronous job runner. In part 3, we will integrate some features like Monaco editor, AI chatbot and premium feature. In part 4, we will deploy our containerized application with Docker, continuous integration and continuous delivery with GitHub Action, and deploy to AWS or Render or Vercel and Heroku according to your comments. Let's see our prerequisites. So good to have skills. To understand some basics of REST API, state management like Redux, and continuous integration and continuous delivery. In this project, we will explain all of the complex topic as we go. So you can also learn some basic concepts of JavaScript like async await, promises, etc. Some React basics like what is components, hooks, use state, use effect, and also what is Redux. In Node.js and Express, you can see how to create basic REST API. In MongoDB basics, you can understand about NoSQL concepts and Mongo's. At last, you can understand basic terminal commands, which we will use in our project, like npm node.js command, git for GitHub, and docker command. So for our project, we have some tools to install. First is VS Code, which is our primary code editor. Second is Node.js, the runtime for our backend. Third is MongoDB Compass. We will integrate MongoDB Compass to MongoDB Atlas. And MongoDB Atlas is our cloud hosted database, and MongoDB Compass gives us GUI feature. Next, we will install Docker Desktop to build and test our containers locally. If we use AWS, then we have to install AWS CLI to interact with our AWS account. And at the end, we use Git for version control and to trigger our CI/CD pipeline, because in this project we use GitHub Actions. Now let's start building. So at day 1, let's install some tools like Node.js, VS Code, Docker, Postman, MongoDB, Node.js. So now open your Google Chrome browser and search VS Code download to download our VS Code. तो हम लोग फर्स्ट में देख सकते हैं डाउनलोड विजुअल स्टूडियो कोड फॉर मैक लिनक्स विंडोज. This is our setup for Windows and this is our setup for Mac OS. I have already downloaded my setup, so just click and open your setup. Then accept all the terms and conditions. Then press next. Then install. तो VS Code जब सक्सेसफुली इंस्टॉल हो जाएगा तो ऐसा इंटरफेस शो होगा. तो हम लोग को फाइल में जाकर ऑटो सेव को इनेबल कर देना है, ताकि हम लोग कोई भी कोडिंग में चेंजेस करें तो वो ऑटो सेव हो जाए. नहीं तो बार बार हम लोग को Ctrl+S से सेव करना पड़ेगा. Now we have to install Node.js. To search Node.js download. There is download Node.js. Click on it. ये हमारा सेटअप है Windows installer.msi. I have already downloaded it. So now open your setup. So after accepting all terms and conditions, then press next, then press install. So to check our Node.js is installed in our system or not, go to command prompt. तो अब हम लोग टाइप करेंगे node -- version. तो ये हमारा Node.js का वर्जन बता देगा, जो कि अभी करेंटली है 24.11.1. टू इंटर इनटू द नोड हम लोग टाइप करेंगे नोड. के बारे में और जानने के लिए हम लोग टाइप करेंगे .help. तो इट शोज सम कमांड like .break, .clear, .editor, .exit, .help, .load, .save. So for now, type .exit. So our Node.js setup is successfully installed in our system. Now let's move to the further. We have to install Postman. Type Postman download. This is our setup, Windows 64-bit. I have already downloaded it. So now open your setup. Then continue with Google. Then go with free plan and create comprehensive API tests for full stack project. तो जब पोस्टमैन सक्सेसफुल डाउनलोड हो जाएगा तो हम लोग का कुछ ऐसा इंटरफेस ओपन होगा, जहाँ पे हम लोग देख सकते हैं आवर कलेक्शन, रिक्वायरमेंट, हिस्ट्री, फ्लोज. So let's create a new collection, blank collection, rename it as LeetCode. Now add a request, get request. तो हम लोग आगे देखेंगे कि हम लोग गेट, पोस्ट, पुट, पैच, डिलीट एपीआईज को कैसे हैंडल करेंगे. So now we have to download MongoDB Compass. Go to MongoDB Compass GUI. This is our setup.exe file. I have already downloaded it. So now open your setup. So after downloading your MongoDB Compass setup, go to products and open your Atlas. So here press get started. Then sign up with your Google account. Accept policy. Then skip personalization. Choose free and create your cluster and create deployment. So after creating your cluster, create deployment. Then go and create new project. तो इस प्रोजेक्ट का नाम दे देते हैं LeetCode. LeetCode. then go and create a cluster. So basically cluster means choose your cloud provider, region and spaces. In create cluster, first choose free, then change name as LeetCode cluster. AWS, Mumbai region, my cluster, create deployment. Create database user, let's say LeetCode DB. Set your password. Database user. So here add your current IP address. To check your IP address, go to a website called ipinfo.io. Now click on what is my IP address. Then add your current IP address. Here give your description and add IP address. Then choose a connection method. तो अगर अब हम लोग कमांड लाइन इंटरफेस का यूज करेंगे तो हम लोग ड्राइवर्स को चूज करेंगे, बट इन दिस प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग MongoDB कंपास का यूज करेंगे. तो चूज MongoDB कंपास. MongoDB कंपास हम लोग इंस्टॉल कर चुके हैं, तो आई हैव MongoDB कंपास इंस्टॉल्ड. नाउ to read this carefully. Copy the connection string, then open MongoDB compass. Use this connection string in your application. Replace DB password with the password for the LeetCode DB user. हम लोग को यहाँ पे जो LeetCode DB यूजर बनाए थे उसके पासवर्ड को यहाँ पे रिप्लेस करना है. तो कॉपी इट एंड डन. तो ओपन योर MongoDB compass. Here add new connection. यहाँ पे हम लोग को उस URL को पेस्ट करना है और DB पासवर्ड में हम लोग को अपना पासवर्ड रिप्लेस करना है. Now choose your color, save and connect. तो हमारा कनेक्शन सक्सेसफुली कनेक्ट हो चुका है. अब हम लोग MongoDB एटलस में जाकर देख सकते हैं LeetCode cluster is ready to use. तो अगर यहाँ पे कोई एरर आता है तो हम लोग अपने MongoDB एटलस में जाएंगे, देन डेटाबेस एंड नेटवर्क एक्सेस, देन IP एक्सेस लिस्ट, देन यहाँ पे हम लोग ऐड IP एड्रेस एंड वी हैव टू चूज अलाउ एक्सेस फ्रॉम एनीवेयर, देन कंफर्म. तो जितने भी एरर है सब चले जाएंगे. और सक्सेसफुली कनेक्ट हो जाएगा। So now we have to download Docker. So search Docker download. Install Docker desktop on Windows. Docker desktop for Windows. I have already downloaded it. Now open your setup. And install Docker. So after install and restart, accept agreement, sign up or use without sign in. And also make sure your CPU virtualization is enabled, else go to BIOS and enable it. So to check your CPU virtualization, go to task manager, then go on performance and CPU. Here you can see virtualization enabled. If it is disabled, then go to BIOS and enable it. Then Docker will run successfully. तो हम लोग Node.js, VS Code, Docker, Postman, MongoDB, Compass सबको डाउनलोड कर चुके हैं और अब हम लोग आगे देखते हैं। Project setup and file structure. So we have front-end folder for client and backend folder for server. So there are some folder like public, source, component, pages, contest, API, app.js, index.js, package.json. In backend we have controllers, models, routes, middleware, config, index.js, .env, package.json. So for front end we use React plus White, and for backend we use Node.js plus Express. So let's talk something about system design. How do we make this scalable? So the core problem of system design, like the timeout problem. What happens if a user submits code with an infinite loop? It will crash our server. Second is concurrency problem. What if 10,000 users submit code at the same time? Our API will collapse. Next is the security problem. What if a user submits malicious code, like remove everything? And last is scaling problem. How do we add more code judges as our user base grow? तो ये हम लोग नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में देखेंगे डिटेल सिस्टम डिजाइन and how we'll solve all these problems. So there are some questions, like first is system scaling. How would you scale judge 0 to handle 10,000 concurrent submissions per minute and prevent execution bottlenecks? So to solve this, we can implement Redis, which is a asynchronous job queue, to decouple the API from execution. In Redis, we use worker pools or worker nodes that consume the queue and manage load balancing across multiple judge 0 instances. Second question is on data integrity. Explain the role of Redis in the submission process and how it ensured submission status integrity after Judge 0 finishes processing. So basically, Redis acts as a high-speed message queue for job ID. Submission starts with the status pending in MongoDB, and after worker updates status to processing and finally updates the result back to MongoDB after Judge 0 completion. So now next is authentication and monetization. How did you design the user roles and authentication system to get premium features like Razorpay integration while maintaining a seamless user experience? So to achieve this, we use JWT token. For stateless authentication, we use user roles like basic and premium, which we can store it in token payload and validated by the Express API middleware. Razorpay webhook asynchronously update the user's role in MongoDB after a successful payment, triggering a new token upon the next request. Next question on DevOps and cloud. Why use Docker for Judge 0 and Express, and how did GitHub Action manage concurrent deployment to Heroku and Vercel? So basically, Docker guarantees a consistent execution environment for Judge 0 dependency requirements. GitHub Action orchestrates the continuous integration, continuous delivery CI/CD pipeline, building, testing, and deploying the isolated Docker container to AWS or Heroku. Now, last question is on LLM, large language model integration optimization. The AI chatbot GEMINI can be costly and latent. How did you optimize its usage to manage cost and provide a fast responsive time for hints and solution explanations? So basically, we implement caching for common problem explanations using Redis or MongoDB. For user-specific queries, we use a structure prompt template to minimize token usage and guide the GEMINI model towards a concise, efficient answer. So it will reduce latency and cost per query. So how this project prepares you? So after completing this project, we will build a scalable, containerized AI-powered platform. We understand all the necessary feature of continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline, and how to implement it from scratch. So we are not just building a clone, we are learning to think like system architects. If you have any question, drop them in the comments below. I will answer them in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Next video is on system design or setting up the backend and APIs. Thank you.